This is Cloud Connections, presented by AT&T. Joining us today from Cloud9's LCS team, top laner Licorice and mid laner Nisqy. Thanks for coming and chatting with us. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
All right, we want to get right into, I think, the most important question after your loss in the grand finals there in Detroit, which is about this segment. Licorice, how do you grade your and Avali's performance in this on Cloud9 semifinals video?
Oh, I think I'm a star. I think it was really incredible. I just like to put a disclaimer that I haven't watched My Hero Academia, so I was just doing what they told me to do, but I still think that it was just really an incredible, like flawless, like once in a lifetime kind of.
I agree. Unique performance.
Yeah, for sure.
But you didn't actually, like in the video, get the trophy. So are you just still there reaching for it in perpetuity?
Yeah, you know, pretty much.
I think that's what happens when you give Avali too much creative direction. It still looks like that. Well, how did you feel coming into the event? Because obviously Team Liquid is 3-time champion, about to win 4, so much veteran status. What did you guys think you had over them coming into it that gave you confidence?
I think we just work better as a team. Like, I think coming into finals, like, that was our strong point, where, like, we work better together, where, like, they have, like, the individual, like, star power, and then we are, like, a more cohesive team. And, I mean, it just didn't work out this time.
It showed in the first 2 games that you guys won, though. So I wonder, what did you think was the actual most winnable game that you had, and what was the factor that made it slip away from you?
I mean, it would have to be game 4. That was like the game that like got away from us. I think that, I mean, there's a couple things that I like could have changed. Like I went bot lane and I like tried to 1v3 and I just barely didn't kill them and I died. And if I played that like a little bit better and I killed them there, then like the game would have been like pretty much over from that point. Or there was another point where I could have killed double lift, or just like, I think there's just like a lot of individual like things that people could have changed that would have like let us win that game.
Nisqy, do you agree with that, about game 4 being the turning point, as it were?
I mean, I think game 4 was in our hands, to be honest. We just played it really wrong, in my opinion. Like, as Eric said, just even like mechanical mistakes, or just, I don't know. For example, my laning was really bad that game. That's like one thing, that if I played a little bit better, then maybe they wouldn't be like that ahead in the early game, and then, I don't know. That game was really weird, for sure. And I think it was a really close game till we like just gave them the game away.
Do you think that part of it was, you said your laning was poor, was part of it like the size of the stage and being in the arena? Was that something that was affecting you guys at all?
I mean, not personally. I think it's just, I just wasn't sure about my laning. Like playing against the, I never played that much before, so I wasn't sure, you know?
Got it.
And I kind of realized it on stage, like, oh, this is hard, you know? And then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna try to survive, you know? And that's it. But yeah.
All right, let's rewind a little bit before the LCS finals. So we did have Svenskeren here on the show a few weeks back. I talked to him and said, like, aren't you the MVP, like likely MVP winner of the season? That ended up being true, right? But he had some stuff to say about possibly being the MVP. He was quite humble, quite humble. And many people are saying that you're an early candidate for MVP in the summer. Do you think that's deserved? And who would you say is the MVP of summer, if it's not you?
Yeah, tell us how great you are.
If it's not you.
I mean, I was talking to you right before that. I was saying that basically, I think I haven't been playing that well to be deserving MVP. And if people think I deserve to be MVP, then the NALCS must not have that many great players, in my opinion. So.
All right.
Do you agree with him that he wasn't playing well enough to be MVP? And if he was MVP, the LCS doesn't have very many good players? Because that was his claim. He basically said he was the best of the worst.
He did have some games where he ran it down.
That is true. That is true. That is true.
So what do you guys think about Svenskeren, your teammate, winning the MVP of the season?
I mean, I think he's really good. He played really well. Whether he's the best player in the league, like maybe. I think that the votes were really close between him and Core JJ. If Core hadn't won last split, I think possibly Core JJ would have won. I think people just don't like voting for the same person twice. So I think that was actually part of it.
That makes sense.
But I do think for sure he's a top player in the LCS.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think he played out of his mind, this split at least. And I mean, everyone saw it. Like, everyone was just talking about him like 24/7 because, I mean, you could see that he was just performing so well. And even though like the games we lost, he was still doing well as well. So, I don't know. I feel like he just played out of his mind every game, this split. So, I do believe he deserved it, yeah.
Well, they talk a lot about him playing out of his mind in conjunction with you, though. So it's his mid lane synergy that really was the kind of driving force behind him looking so good, because you get to play all these melee mid laners because you have Svenskeren, or maybe because not. So how is your assessment personally? Because even Jensen was saying in the finals, you're getting carried by Svenskeren, and Licorice on the flip side in spring, you're saying, oh, Svenskeren's carrying you in the top lane. So what's going on? The solo laners keep getting carried by the jungler, or you have something for yourselves?
I mean, I really disagree with that like statement, because I don't think that a jungler can carry like any. I mean, I do believe he can carry sometimes, but not like, it's not all because of him, you know. Like, I think we play well around him too, and I think Svenskeren really does what we need to. So I think it comes from both sides. Like, if he needs me or Eric to move for anything, then we usually connect really easily too. So I think it's just from both sides, to be honest. I think we just play well as a team and we communicate well as well. So.
I'd say that one of his best talents is actually being able to help someone without them asking for it. I think that's like the one thing that he does that probably a lot of junglers don't do, where like when I first joined the team in spring, he basically like played jungle for me. Like, I don't know a good way to say it, where it's like,
be there when
I'm
your
top
wave is
lane, and like,
crashing and you
like
need
when
help.
I needed my jungler, he would just be there without me like having to recognize that by myself or like put in the effort to do that. So I think that that is really like what sets him apart and like what makes him so easy to like play with, and what helps him like actually like carry you as a jungler.
That's pretty cool. So do you not find yourself asking for him a lot of the time, or he just knows that when you need help, he's gonna have to be there?
I mean, for me, that's changed a lot. I think that as I've gotten like more confident in my play and like how I want to play, that a lot of it is just from me now. And a lot of the time it's like, can I get this? And he's like, no, I have to like gank mid because I have to gank mid, or like I have to gank bot. So I think that that's changed a lot for me, but I think that it might be a little similar to that for Nisqy still.
Usually I don't ask Dennis or like Svenskeren to do like stuff for me, because usually he knows what to do, and I'm not that talkative as well. Like in game, I don't communicate a lot, but usually he asks me the questions, you know, like, do you want to do this, or what you need, and then I just play my lane, and then he just talks to him. I'm like, yeah, I need this, and he's like, okay, and then you know, we do it, and especially when you play like strong duos, like 2v2s, or like me, Sejuani, Aurelia, or stuff like that, then just we kind of know that we have to play together. So yeah, usually he knows what to do, and that really helps me for sure, I think.
So I hate to rub this in so quickly, but I'm gonna have to make you guys take a trip to Game 5. What happened?
Go ahead.
I mean, for me, they picked Shen. We already kind of decided that we were going to put Aatrox mid, just based on like champion matchup. Like that's the matchup we were looking for, the Aatrox into the Akali. So I was given like the free counter pick on the Shen. I wasn't expecting the Shen. I actually thought he was going to pick like Gangplank or something. But Vlad still looked good. And then as far as lane phase went, he played it well early. I think that Shen actually does win the matchup early, and then it's just kind of like, eventually I get to like 5 and 7, my Q cooldown goes down and I can start like punishing him. But around level 7, they got the Ocean Dragon. So then all of a sudden like I'd Q him and then he'd heal back up before I could like Q him again. So my lane wasn't really like a pressure point. And then I think they just had like pressure everywhere. So we just lost. It was pretty bad.
It's that Ocean Drake. Yeah.
I know. We were talking beforehand about how they should put Drake's spawn order in the draft.
Would have known not to pick Vlad.
See, you would have known. You would have known. But instead, unfortunately, lose that Game 5. So what is the one thing each of you personally need to improve on coming off of the loss? Like, what was your big takeaway from that final? I mean, I think for me, it's two things. I think one is my champion pool still.
I think I could have played more champions at finals if I like practiced beforehand.
What's one you really wish you would have known coming in?
I think it's Little Blank because it would solve a lot of issues into the draft too. And I also played it before, but I didn't really even think that it would be like good or not. So that's one of it. And then I think also just playing from behind is one thing that I have to work on because if I'm ahead, then it's like really easy because I just fight people and then like we just kill them. But when I'm behind, it's like I don't talk much as well usually during the game. So when I'm behind, it's like even worse for my teammates. So yeah, I think that's one thing I want to learn.
How about you, Licorice?
I think it's just practicing the matchups more, like being more comfortable on what I'm playing. I think that the week leading into finals is always like really hard to get good practice in because there's like no one scrimming because there's only 2 teams playing in finals, and then like there's the 3rd, 4th teams, but you have to like fly to a city, and then you have like videos, and you have to do like stage prep and all that. So I think that just trying to like set up my practice better so that it's more efficient next time would be like huge for me, because I think that like I was really close to being able to like do a lot of good things in the game, but it was like I just barely didn't have it, and I think that if I practiced just a little bit better, I might have been able to win.
So what do you guys think, after we talked about you individually, what about you as a team? What was the big takeaway there? What do you guys feel like you need to work on? Did Reapbird say anything to you about, oh, this is what we need to improve as a unit?
Not really.
I'm not sure actually. I mean, I think it's mostly like individual stuff, I think. I don't think we played that bad as a team. Because usually we're really good playing when we're ahead, but TL were like kind of ahead some of the games, I believe. And it made us quite hard for us to play, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's, like, since it's still so fresh, I think it's really hard to play something and then immediately go to, like, the team side of it, where I think that it's a lot easier for, like, each player to just come back and then, like, take a couple days, like, eventually watch the games themselves and, like, see where they went wrong, and then we can come together as a team and figure out where we went wrong as a team. Because I think that if you start going to the team stuff right away, it's just going to get really, like, everyone's going to start like pointing fingers more and like blaming each other, and I think that that's just the wrong way to go about it.
Just as a quick little note, do you rewatch it from the entire perspective or your own pro view to see what you did?
Well, I don't know. I generally do the full perspective, but I'll probably like watch bits and pieces on my pro view as well.
Okay, so what matters more to you guys, winning an LCS title or doing better than Team Liquid at Worlds, or just doing really well at Worlds?
Good question. I think doing well at Worlds is, I don't know. I think for me, just being like on an international stage and just doing really well would be nice. I mean, winning a trophy is nice as well, but I don't think it's like as nice as like doing really well in like an international event, at least for me.
I think it's winning finals for me.
Really?
I think that, I mean, I just want to win something. Like, like when you go to Worlds, you're not like, oh yeah, we're probably going to win finals and win the World Cup. It's like, let's get really far. Like, let's get farther than we got last time. Like, the goal isn't to, like, to win the whole thing. I mean, it obviously is, but like the realistic goal is to like get very far at Worlds. So then, I mean, NA finals was winnable. Like, it was very winnable. I think that I just want to win. Like, I think that just getting first place and holding up a trophy is more important to me than like we got top 4 at Worlds again or something like that.
It felt like the crowd really wanted you guys to win as well.
Too bad.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. We do have a Twitter question for you guys. So Coloris asks, what do you think would be the main difference between European and Korean boot camps, and would Western teams continue to boot camp there in the future? Because obviously this is like a pretty big change historically in League of Legends, where teams usually went over to Korea, but now that Korea is arguably a weaker region than Europe, what do you think the biggest differences will be in that setup?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to say that you're probably going to get like different metas. Because I think that before everyone boot camped in Korea, and then like the top teams would all scrim each other, and then they'd like come up with like what they think is good, what they think the best picks are, and then everyone else would like occasionally scrim a top team, usually get beat up, and then like kind of copy them. I think that this year you'll probably see like an NA EU meta where we like boot camp together, and I think that as far as I know, the Korean teams are just going to stay in Korea, and like same with the Chinese teams. So then I think you're going to have like 2 separate metas that are going to like not really play against each other that much until you actually get to like at least play-ins or like group stage at Worlds. So I think that like probably just different champion picks.
And you guys are heading out very soon, right, to start your European boot camp, like a week or two?
Yeah, just a couple weeks.
Couple weeks. So you guys are going to be there well before, especially because you're not playing in the play-ins, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have like, what, a month
Yeah,
of practice?
basically a month before we play.
I mean, I think playing against European teams is going to be really good because I think their way of playing is also way more aggressive than the LCK or like the LPL ones. And I think for NA teams, I think it's really important to know how to play aggressive as well because in NA sometimes we play a bit too safe, and that's something we have to fix for sure.
Well, there's another Twitter question for you guys, and Richie Farley asks the both of you, from your perspective, which 3 players are you most excited to go up against in Worlds?
I think for me, for sure Faker. That's like the classic one. And then I think Caps is also one of them. And then the third one is probably like Showmaker or Chovy, probably. Also Knight and Doinby. I don't know. I mean, everyone, to be honest. Like every mid is just so good right now, I think. So it's just going to be exciting to play against everyone, yeah.
I think for me, I think Khan has looked super strong recently. I'm excited to play against him. Apart from that,
But doesn't he famously underperform at international events, though?
I mean, I guess, but he's looked really good recently. So I think he'll be able to play well this time. And then I think I want to play against Bwipo again. I think my last 2 matchups against Bwipo have been kind of rough. Hoping to turn that around a little bit. And then I don't know. I don't think I have a third right now.
The Shy. Everyone likes to play the Shy.
I guess the Shy, yeah. I mean, IG has been doing like okay recently. I haven't seen their like super recent games, but I know their regular season didn't go super well.
They lost the first round of the playoffs.
I see.
Yeah.
So,
But they'll still be good. They can still qualify.
They can still qualify? Okay.
All right, well, thanks for dropping by with the studio and talking to us. Good luck with your boot camp and, of course, the World Championship as well.
Thank
you.
So,
Thank you.
Have some
guys.
fun in Europe.